guys! So today I'm making a dark chocolate cake with cream cheese frosting. I was craving chocolate cake and cream cheese for some reason, and this little cake is what I decided on. It's a slight variation to my milk chocolate cake recipe, so if you loved that one, then you're gonna love this one too, because it's basically the same thing. I just made it a little bit more chocolatey. So the first thing you're gonna do is add 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour to a large mixing bowl. Then add in 2 cups of granulated sugar, 3/4 of a cup of dark chocolate Hershey powder. So not your regular Hershey powder, the one that says dark chocolate. Then you're gonna add 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Next, you're gonna grab a whisk and start combining everything together. You're just gonna stir until all of the ingredients are thoroughly mixed together and everything is that chocolatey brown color and you have no clumps left in your bowl. Next, you're gonna break open 2 eggs in another bowl or right on top of your dry mixture if you're really stellar at egg cracking and you're not afraid of getting any eggshells into your mixing bowl. Just do them right on top. Otherwise, in another container and then pour them on. Then you're gonna add 1 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and 2 teaspoons of cocoa extract. I want this to be a really chocolatey cake, so I'm using cocoa extract. Now grab your hand mixer and on a low speed start blending everything together in your mixing bowl. Once it all starts to combine together, you can turn up the mixer to a medium speed. At this point, your batter will be slightly thick and very chocolatey. It's perfect. So just keep mixing it all together and scrape down the edges of your bowl to get all of the ingredients combined together and keep mixing it. The last step is to add in 1 cup of boiling water. So you're gonna grab your hand mixer again and on a very low speed, you're gonna start mixing in the water. Your batter is going to become very thin, which is what you want. My batter is now ready to be poured into the pan, so I'm going to use 2 greased and floured 6-inch round cake pans, and I'm also going to use a scoop to disperse my batter because my glass bowl is very heavy and it also is kind of hot from that boiling water. So do whatever is easiest for you, but get your cake batter into your pan. While my cakes bake in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes, I'm going to make my frosting. So into a mixing bowl is 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese and 1 stick of room temperature unsalted butter. And I'm going to use my hand mixer to combine them together. And next, I'm going to add in about 1 tablespoon of cocoa extract because again, this will be a chocolate cream cheese frosting and I want it to be really chocolatey. Then I'm going to use my hand mixer again to combine it before I add in about 1/2 bag of powdered sugar. After mixing in my powdered sugar, I'm going to scrape down the sides of my bowl and then add in 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. I decided to use regular cocoa powder and not my dark chocolate cocoa powder because I didn't want it to be overkill. I didn't want it to be so chocolatey that you took 2 bites of cake and you were done. So in goes just a little bit of cocoa powder, and then I'm gonna mix with my hand mixer until it's all combined together. Then I'm adding in the rest of my powdered sugar and combining it together so I can get the right consistency for my frosting. I decided to decorate my cake with chocolate curls. So I'm using a milk chocolate bar and a dark chocolate bar, and I'm just using a potato peeler to shave off some of the curls off of the sides. Now, of course, you could just use some chocolate sprinkles and get the same chocolatey effect on your cake. My cakes are completely cooled, and now I'm going to flip them out onto a piece of wax paper. All I do is run a butter knife around the edge of the cake just to make sure it's not stuck to the pan at all, and they come right out when I flip them over. So I also sliced my cakes in half and I've leveled them so I have 4 even pieces. And now is the fun part, the frosting and the decorating. So I'm going to choose which piece of cake to be the bottom piece, and I'm going to lay it down on a cake board, and I'm going to use a rotating stand to help me frost. I'm going to add some frosting to that bottom piece of cake, and I'm going to use an offset spatula to help spread it evenly around before adding the next layer of cake. And I'm just going to continue that pattern until I reach the top of my cake. Once my final layer is added, I'm going to frost the top and the sides of my cake slightly. Basically, I'm trying to catch any crumbs that are falling off. I want a thin layer of frosting all over my cake, and then I'm going to place it into the freezer for about 10 minutes to seal in any of the crumbs. Then I'm going to remove it from the freezer and I'm going to continue to frost my cake. My cake is now out of the freezer and I'm going to add a thicker layer of frosting all over, and I'm going to use an icing comb with a design on it to create a fun side for my cake. Once the side of my cake is completed, I'm going to use an icing bag and a tip to create dollops around the edge of the top of my cake. So now that I'm done frosting my cake, the next part is to use the chocolate curls I made earlier. I've got a mix of milk chocolate and dark chocolate curls, and I'm just going to add some to the top of my cake right in the middle of all of my little dollops, and then also along the bottom edge of my cake. Next, I'm adding on some milk chocolate and dark chocolate pieces from my candy bars. I'm going to add them right on the top of each little dollop, kind of alternating each one. And that's it, you guys. That is all there is to it. That is my dark chocolate cake with chocolate cream cheese frosting tutorial. Pretty simple, pretty easy, not that much different than my milk chocolate cake recipe. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and as always, thanks for watching.